I feel like I misunderstood what the plot was going to be in this book, and that is causing me to not really care for what I'm reading. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Just Another Struggling Writer, the beleaguered author's one-stop shop for commiseration and, hopefully, inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Today I am doing the end-of-year book tag, something I hope kicks my ass into finishing the books that I said that I would read all the way back in September. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. Of course. There are 4 that I'm in the middle of reading right now. The first one being House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig. I have been struggling with this book since August. I don't know what it is about it, but it is just so slow, I guess. And normally slow doesn't bother me, but it's slow not in the way that I like, where it really explores the setting and the details and the relationships between characters. It's just slow. It's very atmospheric, it's very moody and kind of vibey, not super vibey, but it's just taking a really long time to get to the point. I'm about 50, I think maybe even 60% of the way through, and that's usually when I start binge reading because the plot is picking up pace and things are really starting to go downhill. Usually when I get to about 65%, I just finish it to the end, and the fact that I haven't felt even remotely interested in doing that so far, I don't know. It's just not for me. And maybe it's because it's a YA. I don't know, but it's just not, I'm not feeling it. So I'm going to try and get that one done. I'm not going to leave that one for next year for sure. The second book in that list is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. And this one I am enjoying. It's just that I'm reading a physical copy of it. Physical copies are just so hard for me to get through quickly. I have a lot of activities that take me outside of the house with my kids and things, and those make it easier for me to read ebooks and audiobooks. I really need to because I am planning a book review of it later next week, so I really need to finish it and get that review up. But I am enjoying it. It's exactly up my alley. That is definitely high on my list to finish. The third one is Camber of Cooley by Katherine Kurtz, and this is a book that was written in the 70s, and it's very much an old-fashioned kind of epic fantasy about the powers of good and evil and the struggle between magic and normal people, kings that shouldn't be kings, the people rising up. It's very, very classic. It's very short. I'm trying to get through it, but it's super old-fashioned. That one I'm about 15% of the way into. That one I'm reading on ebook, so I can at least carry it with me and read it in the creases that I have. And lastly, I have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, and I am about 40% of the way through the audiobook on this one, and I hope I finish. It is a 24-hour audiobook, quite lengthy, and I'm not really loving it. I misunderstood what the plot was about, maybe from the TV show promotion, seeing plot point A to be the story, and at 40% in, all we've gotten is plot point B, which would have been fine, I think, if that's what I was expecting, but instead, I'm not really loving plot point B. It's making it kind of a drag, and then also turning on the audiobook feels like such a drain on my soul right now, but I'm going to try and get through that one as well. Like I said, I'm about 40% in. But those are the 4 books that I'm still trying to get through before the end of the year. I don't know. Of the 5 books that I am trying to finish, I think the most autumny is probably Ink, Blood, Sister, Scry by Emma Torge, and I don't actually know that it's autumny. It's got that kind of feel to it. I mean, just look at this cover. That's pretty autumnal, don't you think? I hope so. But I think it came out over the summer, and so maybe it might be a more summer transition into autumn rather than autumn into winter. But of the ones that I'm trying to finish, I think that is probably the most appropriate. Not really. I don't really pay attention to release schedules unless it's a sequel to a book that I've already read and really look forward to. That being said, I did just pick up The Kingdom of Sweets by Erica Johansson in my Book of the Month box, and that is supposed to be a Nutcracker retelling, and Nutcracker has always played a really big role in my Christmas memory. My grandmother was a really big fan of it, so I just remember listening to it and reading the book a lot over those Christmas breaks with my grandmother. So I think that might be interesting. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to get to this year. I might have to save it for next year, but we'll see. I've got to get get through these September books first. And I've already mentioned all the ones that I'm in the middle of. And then, of course, Inkblood Sister Scribe. The last one would be The Final Strife by Sarah al-Sirafi. And this is the one I was most looking forward to reading when I was getting into my September TBR. And it's just worked out that I haven't gotten to it yet. But this one for sure, I'm really excited about. I love Middle Eastern inspired fantasy, so I'm super excited for this one. I heard it's sapphic as well, so lots of good stuff to read in this one. So definitely this is the one I'm most looking forward to reading, and I'm definitely going to do it before the end of the year. To be totally honest with you, I am a super harsh critic. I don't have a single 5-star read this year. Of course, that's a super small sample size, only about 30 books. I have a hard time giving out that 5. It has to be really, like, I have to be thinking about it weeks and months later, and I can't think of a single book that did that to me this year. The closest one would have been, well, I'll leave that for my end of the year wrap up. But like I said, getting to be my favorite book of the year it's not going to be super hard because I haven't had one so far that really blew me away. At the same time, the chances aren't great because I just don't give out that 5 very often. But if any of them have a chance, it's either The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi, because I am really enjoying that one, or The Final Strife. I have some ideas about how I want to go about things. One of them is reading one book a month that is outside my usual comfort zone, my fantasy genre. Things like mysteries, thrillers, horror, that sort of thing. Reading one book a month that's kind of outside of my comfort zone. And then another idea I want to try is reading one book a month from the library. I have a super small branch close to me. They don't have a really robust selection, so I think it would be easy to kind of get through all of them. I've browsed them and none of them really jumped out at me, so I think that would kind of force me to read something that I wouldn't have picked up anyway. So those are the 2 ideas I have off the top of my head. I also want to try things with reading jar prompts. I had my little mimic friend help me out in September, and I really liked that. But I think there could be other things that I do too. Things, just certain prompts that might be fun to try out. I haven't really put the final touches on that idea, so we'll see if that gets finalized before the end of the year. But those are my reading goals. I'd also like to try and read at least 2 books a week. I didn't even manage to read 1 book a week this year with everything going on and just the fire and everything and just feeling not really mentally there. But I would like to try and read more books. And the way that my brain works, if I set an impossible goal, I'm going to stretch for it. So even if I don't reach it, it's going to motivate me more than if I had set a more reasonable goal. So like this year I set a goal of 50 books, about 1 book a week, give or take. And I'm going to probably end up with just over 30. So I think if I set like a 75 book goal for next year, I think I might get to 50. So if I just keep increasing that goal, even if I don't get it, it'll trick my brain into at least trying for it. Does that make sense? It doesn't really make sense to me, but that's how it works. And that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments which books you're trying to get through before the end of the year and what your reading plans are for 2024. As always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.